We are constantly bombarded with videos of massive six-figure portfolios, but we very rarely get to see the humble beginnings. And it may make you feel like you need thousands of pounds to even get started, but I'm here to tell you that that could not be further from the truth. Just over a year ago, I started a brand new investment portfolio with exactly £100. And I wanted to prove with this portfolio that you do not need a life-changing sum to begin building wealth and to start on this journey. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly what I invested the money in, the steps I took to get invested in the first place, and what that £100 pot is worth today. If you are sitting on tens of thousands of pounds in savings and you are waiting for the perfect moment to start your investment journey, then I'm sorry to say, but you are missing out on the most valuable thing an investor has, which is time and experience of being in the market. The reality is that investing has never been more accessible. We have, in this day and age, the ability to get started with as little as £1 and to very easily invest into a globally diversified fund that is capable of tracking the entire market. But while the entry point is low, jumping in blind is still a very bad idea. And that is why I always coach my clients to earn the right to invest. And before even putting £100, let's say, into the stock market, you should be following my 6-step framework. Now, I'm not going to walk you through every single step in great detail today, but I want to start by explaining step 1, which would be really important even if just investing £100, and that is all about getting your ducks in a row. So what this means is eradicate high interest debt, and also have 3 to 6 months of essential spending in an emergency fund. You need to get that under your belt before you consider investing. And you also need to make sure that you have a 5-year timeline for this money where you are happy to leave it alone. That is kind of the qualifying criteria that I would say for someone looking to take this action. Also, step number 2, which is considering a pension pot. I'm just going to comment on this briefly. So while pensions are great for retirement, I didn't want to lock this particular £100 away for decades up until I reached retirement age. And so I moved past that and onto step 3. And there is where I chose a stocks ISA for that flexibility. Now, everyone's situation is unique, but for the purpose of this experiment, that account type made the most sense for me. So let's now talk about my actual investing setup. I created this portfolio in February of last year on a platform called InvestEngine. The only action I took was to invest the full £100 on the 22nd of February into the Invesco FTSE All World. This is a globally diversified fund that tracks the performance of the stock markets across the entire globe. And if we look at the key investor information, we can see the risk profile is a 5 out of 7. It is designed to be a long-term investment. But when I opened this account, I actually managed to also get a £29 bonus through a promotion that InvestEngine were running at the time, which I promptly invested as well and sort of added to that total pot. So all in all, £129 has gone into this portfolio. And as of today, the value of that portfolio has risen to £152.65. What that means is that I have made an unrealised return of nearly £24 in profit. And that is a 16.6% return on the total amount invested. So if we express that as an average annual return, it's going to be roughly 15% per year. And that is absolutely brilliant. And for a portfolio that I have barely even looked at to boot. So no work, no stress, no effort, just plonk that money in and I've got my 15% annual return. Now, I know £24 does not seem like it's going to change your life, but for a second, let's just imagine that we added a couple of extra zeros onto the end of these numbers. And if this had been a £10,000 investment, that 16% market growth would have handed us over £1,600. And if it were £100,000, we would have been looking at over 16 grand of profit in just over a year. So to be totally transparent, I wouldn't expect this degree of growth to continue at this rate every single year. A 16% return is still really high, and it is above what I would usually expect. But if we use historical performance as sort of a rough guide, then we can usually expect to see an average of around 10%, or even more conservatively, you could say 8%. But even at 8%, the maths does show that you can 10x your money over 30 years, which I think is just truly amazing, and it highlights the real reason why I am investing in the first place. Also, the reason I am showing you this humble portfolio and starting stage is because you wouldn't have the confidence to manage those extra zeros if you didn't learn the lessons and understand the opportunity through a small experiment like this one. So while some people have waited so long and they may be ready to jump in the deep end, albeit possibly with some help, if you start small, just like I did, it can be much more motivational, and it can be a lot easier when you are kind of actually racking up to the big numbers. I have not even visited the InvestEngine app for at least 3 months. So until I checked it for the purpose of making this video, I hadn't looked at it. And when I logged in, it also gave me a little update and told me that I am now a certified boring investor. It says I have mastered the art of doing nothing. And honestly, that is music to my ears. It is exactly what I'm here for. And my boring score that they gave me was 6.8 out of 10. So I suspect the reason I did not get a perfect 10 is because maybe I didn't have like the auto invest feature enabled. And I believe they call it, setting up like a savings plan. So this is also a really good point to make about this platform, is that it's super easy for non-technical people because it can be all done from the app, and you can do a recurring investment via direct debit. So it's certainly nowhere near as complicated as a certain tutorial I did for a certain investment platform recently. And while I did a lump sum here in this case, a really strong strategy for beginners is actually pound cost averaging. So this is where you save up even a small amount every single month and invest it, regardless of what the market is doing. So this can help you to sort of even out those extreme swings in the market so that you can also ride the volatility with much less stress. And so I have to give kudos as well to InvestEngine here, because they are actually rewarding people for having this long-term mindset, hyping up that behavior, which compared to a platform like Trading 212, which can feel quite busy and fast-paced and altogether is a whole different vibe, then this stripped back, simple, and ETF-only investment platform is kind of like a breath of fresh air to me. So you're also not going to be waylaid into risky individual stocks because guess what? InvestEngine don't have any. So I'm honestly not all that surprised that the maths worked out in this video, but what I am surprised at is just how quickly the past year has gone for me. And if you are at the very early stages of your journey, then I think the best thing that you can do is to get a little bit of that experience under your belt. Now, if you are still feeling unsure about your initial investing strategy, I do offer a free intro call for my financial coaching program, and I can help you get from A to B much quicker than struggling alone. So if A being you've just heard about investing or you're really keen to start, and B being actually getting you up and running with your own investing portfolio and strategy, you can talk to me. But even so, regardless of what you do and what you take from this video, starting with a small sum today will help you no end. So thank you very much for watching and following along this little portfolio journey, and I will see you in the next video.